Thanks to some new DNA evidence, police have arrested a man in connection with the death of a Robstown toddler.
Yeah, 21-year-old Michael Ortiz is charged with capital murder for the beating death of 18-year-old Arabella Sanchez. Police were able to catch up with Ortiz and make the arrest in Woodville, Texas. That's about 100 miles northeast of Houston.
Our Taylor Alanis talked with District Attorney Mark Gonzalez about the case today. She is live outside the Nueces County Jail with the latest on this top story. Taylor.
Yeah, Joe Mackenzie, originally that toddler's mother, Chastity Herrera, based on some evidence that was found on scene, she was arrested and charged. But after new DNA evidence was tested, they found that it did not belong to Chastity Herrera, but in fact her boyfriend, Michael Ortiz. Now last week, murder charges were dropped against Herrera, and at the same time, investigators were on their way to capture Ortiz. After talking to those closest to him, investigators say they had enough information to believe that he was living and working in Woodville, Texas. Nueces County investigators say they went up to Woodville where Ortiz had actually committed a crime recently. So police were already there looking for him. A manhunt was underway, and eventually he was arrested and transported back to Nueces County this morning. DA Mark Gonzalez says it was thanks to his investigators and Woodville police and some DNA that they were able to apprehend Ortiz. He says DNA is most of the time not going to lie, and that means it's one of the most accurate pieces of evidence that they have, and so there's no way that they would have been able to go forward with this case without that. So police say back on December 15th last year, they responded to a home on the 500 block of Pat Schutter Street to find 18-month-old Arabella Sanchez unresponsive. She was rushed to the hospital where she later died, and the medical examiner says she did die from blunt force trauma. They said that she suffered numerous broken bones, including numerous bleeding and to her heart and scalp. At the time, Herrera told police she hadn't seen her daughter, and Ortiz was booked into the Nueces County Jail this morning again on $1 million bond. For now, the case is still under investigation, so they aren't releasing much details about his other involvement in this case. For now, live from the Nueces County Courthouse, Taylor Alanis, 3 News.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. Just something we will certainly keep on following.